Hello, 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 my amazing parents. Good evening and well day, and we're getting started immediately. So if you can see me and if you can hear me clearly, please just throw a yes in the comments. If you can see me and if you can hear me clearly, please just throw a yes in the comments so that we can get started immediately. If you can see me and if you can hear me, please just throw a yes in the comments so that we can get right into it. We are talking about gut health, parasites, heavy metals, and neural development. And today we're going to help you to understand the link between these things, how these things are interwoven, how are they interconnected. And like we've been saying earlier, the gut brain axis is a two-way street. So the axis is like a highway. Do you understand? Connecting to and fro, meaning from the brain to the gut and from the gut back to the brain. And the gut microbes produce neurotransmitters and immune signals, which we've already developed, and we've laid the foundation in day 2 and day 3 of this bootcamp. And disruptions in these neurotransmitters will affect gut health, will affect mood, focus, and behavior. Now, the thing about parasites is that parasites do not survive outside of a host body. Do you understand? So they must be in a living host. So they are organisms that take from the host, and it has been linked to ADHD, autism, and it causes what? Disruption in the gut, which then causes a disruption in the gut brain axis, leading to the gut brain disruption. Chronic parasitic infections alter behavior. Aside from behavior, it also alters the cognitive abilities, alters their focus, and it causes inflammation, nutrient depletion, and toxins release. Now, when it comes to parasites, we have some major parasites that we're going to be talking about, some major parasites that affect children as a whole, and that are majorly seen in kids who are experiencing neurodivergence. One of the parasite types are the helminths, which include pinworms, hookworms, and roundworms. We also have protozoa, which includes the Gardia lamblia, the Dientamoeba fragilis, and Toxoplasma gondii. Now, others include Now, others include the blastocystis hominis and some other parasites. And prevalence of this occurs in about 50% of kids who are experiencing neurodivergence. Now, we're going to be breaking down these parasites and the neurological effects, how they affect the brain, how they affect the gut, how they affect your child nutrient absorption, and they deplete your child minerals. Now, when your children do not get minerals, guess what? Their brain is also not getting minerals. And if they cannot absorb this thing, what then happens? You are not feeding that child, you are feeding the parasites. So that is why you see that, oh, but my child wasn't doing this before, now it is this. And as they grow older, the symptoms increase, there's exacerbation in the intensity of the condition, and so on and so forth. One of the reasons might be because of this parasite, and you are trying one supplement there, another supplement here, but guess what? Whatever supplement you're giving your baby, if your baby's body cannot absorb it, if your baby's gut cannot break it down due to the absence of short chain fatty acids, if your baby's gut cannot synthesize it, it is almost inconsequential, it's almost irrelevant. Now, one of these parasites are what? Are pinworms, which they have neurological effects. So what happens is that they affect the brain, they affect the nervous system, they affect the endocrine system. And Enterobius vermicularis, it is spread through oral fecal routes. What does that mean? Through when you go to the restroom, you don't wash your hands properly, or when you go visit someone, the person did not wash their hands properly and they held your child, they touched surfaces, and from the surfaces that was touched, this bacteria, this parasite has been transferred to those surfaces. Then your baby picks up something, puts it in the mouth, things like that. And it's also common in schools. Do you understand? Symptoms of this include anal itching, sleep disruption, and irritability. So if you observe that your child always itches their anus, they have intense irritability and disruption, this might be one of the reasons why. And it causes sleep loss, dopamine imbalance, which then means that your child will be hyperactive. There will also be increase in cortisol, and it will cause a depletion in serotonin. We also have Gardia lambia, which interferes with cognitive functions. Now, this is contaminated. This is spread through contaminated water, and it is commonly found in daycare, in crèche. And the symptoms include diarrhea, bloating, fatigue. And when your child is infected with this particular parasite, what happens is that nutrient depletion occurs. Vitamin B and iron. I know vitamin B is needed for cognitive development. Iron is needed for speech. So when there is a depletion, then when there is a presence of this parasite, what happens? There will be a depletion of that, and that child will not be able to progress. The child will not be able to hit the next milestone. Do you understand? And it causes a disruption in the GABA and the glutamate balance, which then increases anxiety, increases tension, increases the excitatory ability of your child, and your child cannot sit still, cannot focus because of this particular thing. Then we have toxoplasma. Toxoplasma affects behavior. So you see, when you are doing therapy, you're doing behavioral therapy, you're doing physical therapy, you're doing speech therapy, you're dealing with things from the outside without looking at the internal work, without looking at what is actually receiving this thing. Guess what? You will see that you are doing, but there is no result. And when there is no result, you get frustrated. But it is because you are not yet doing it right. You're not yet hitting the nail on the head, and we are here to help you hit the nail on the head. We have what Toxoplasma gondii, which is gotten from soil, which is that means the ground, uncooked meat, and cat feces. So if you are one that keeps cats, you rear cats, this can also be one of the ways that parasites can be introduced to the body, and it alters the dopamine pathway, which is linked to what behavioral changes. So you see children who are affected with this are highly impulsive, and they were at high sensory seekers. And the presence of this interferes with the neurotransmitters, and which then affect their brain, affect their body. Now we have amoeba. You know, amoeba, they say, why are you shapeless like amoeba? Amoeba is so commonly said, but it is one of the most dangerous and a highly detrimental parasite that is very common in children experiencing neurodivergence. From my experience, very, very common. And this disrupts the microbiome. When there's disruption in the microbiome, what does that mean? There's a disruption in the gut bacteria. When there's disruption in the gut bacteria makeup, what does that mean? It affects the short chain fatty acids. It affects vitamin K, affects what vitamin B, and a lot more. If you missed the class I took where I talked about the gut brain axis, make sure you go back to that, because I would not be repeating myself. Then we also have and this thing increases inflammation. Now, when there's an increase in inflammation in your body, what happens? What happens is that your body now cannot even release the self-healing power. The body is constantly stressed. Now, when you are stressed, you're constantly in a state of tension. When your body is constantly in a state of tension, guess what? Your baby will not be able to pay attention to anything. Sexual activities will be increased, and serotonin will also be affected. We also have blastocystis hominis, which is common, and it is debated in the pathogenicity. However, it interrupts the gut-brain barrier, and it increases neurotoxins. Now, yesterday I talked about 2 days ago I talked about the fact that the bacteria are needed for the blood-brain barrier. Now, the blood-brain barrier is what protects the brain from every other part of the body. It what protects the brain from toxins, the toxins that you're inhaling from air, the parasites that you're getting here and there. It is what filters them out. It only accepts the good and filters out the bad. But guess what? When the gut microbiome is affected, when there's a dysbiosis in the gut, what happens? the bacteria now will not be able to strengthen the blood brain barrier. Now when there is a discrepancy, a disruption in the integrity of the gut brain barrier, guess what, there's an opening, and these parasites will then find their way to the brain and now interfere with the brain, what with the brain morphology, interfere with with the nutrients in the brain, also further release inflammation in the brain, cause more inflammation in the brain, and release toxins in the brain. Now, the brain cannot filter out this process. The brain cannot send it out because the brain is not responsible for digestion. It's not responsible for detoxification. The brain only is just garbage in, garbage out. The brain reacts to what it receives, and what it receives comes from the gut. Do you understand? So I want you to understand what I'm saying very, very well. Now, parasites also affect what neurotransmitters. Now, toxoplasma affects dopamine. It increases dopamine, causing high impulsivity. It's also what and parasites also what interfere with what serotonin. Serotonin will then lead to low mood issues. Now, if serotonin is being produced low, dopamine is high. You can already see a disruption. Do you understand? Then GABA and glutamate, these gradient toxins disrupt balance and increase anxiety. And chronic infections can mimic what ADHD, autism, and most times when we go for tests or analysis or the other, these other aspects are not being looked at. The only aspect that is being looked at is okay, your child, the brain. There are even some certain things that are not even looked at, things like apraxia. Do you understand? So the this is deeper than just the brain. Is deeper than just, because in order for you to deal with the brain as a whole, you need to also look at the guts. Now, neuroinflammation, parasite triggers cytokines, and cytokines are inflammatory cells which then inflame the brain, and inflammation causes a disruption in the blood-brain barrier as well. So you can see if the parasite, if the gut is already open, leading towards leaky guts, then causing a disruption in. So please, sorry, please excuse me. Where was I? I think I was talking about parasites, inflammation, and the blood-brain barrier. Now, when the gut, the brain is already, the blood-brain barrier has been, the integrity has been disrupted due to poor gut dysbiosis. Then there is passage into that, releasing neurotoxins. Now, the aside from releasing neurotoxins, guess what happens? They also cause an increase in inflammation in the brain, which then increases hyperactivity, sensory overload, and poor focus. Now, this can also cause nutrient depletion, and a starved brain cannot heal. A starved brain cannot advance. A starved brain cannot hit milestones. A starved brain cannot improve no matter what you do. So you need to try to it's very, very easy to say remove, replenish, but no, it goes deeper than that. There are layers that we need to unravel step by step when it comes to helping you improve the quality of life for your child and improve the quality of experience for yourself as a parent. Now, parasites also what? Also steal B vitamins, iron, and zinc. Now, B vitamin deficiency causes what? Fatigue, inattention, and irritability. Iron deficiency causes cognitive delays. So think focus, think at listening to commands, obeying commands, think about responding to their name, think about making eye contact, think about speech. Iron deficiency, vitamin B deficiency as well, hyperactivity, zinc deficiency causes what? Sensory issues, poor immune regulation. Now, aside from all this, they also poison the brain. They also poison the brain. They also poison the brain. And how do they poison the brain? When just like you as a human being, you fat. Do you understand? Parasites also release gas. They emit gas. Now, these gases they emit are their byproducts. And these byproducts include ammonia, acetaldehyde, and hydrogen sulfide. And when they cross into the blood-brain barrier, when they're already in the brain, the cause was neurotoxicity. So you see that the thing is it keeps on compounding. The presence of these things keeps on compounding and compounding and compounding. Do you understand? Now there are some essential signs, some signs that makes you know that there are parasites. We have what? Bloating, diarrhea, constipation, anal itching. Also things like brain fog, inattention, sensory overload, and steaming, irritability, hyperactivity, poor sleep, tiptoeing, teeth grinding, and head banging. Because if let's say something as little as an ant is climbing your body, what do? You tap on it, you eat it, you try to shake it off your body. It's the same thing. But for them, they cannot see it. You also cannot see it, but they can only feel it. And as they are also feeling it, they are also responding to the byproducts or to the effect of these parasites in their body. In their body. Aside from that, there are also systemic signs like fatigue, weight loss. Your child is eating, your child cannot gain weight. Your child is a picky eater, does not want to eat anything. Once food enter your child's mouth, the child starts to react. Your child has intense cravings, only eats sugar, only eats carbonated what am I saying? Only eat processed food, rashes. They just constantly come down with rashes, particularly on their arm and on their back and on their stomach. Do you understand? Eyes, constant wells, and eczema. Eczema is not a skin issue, it's a gut issue. Now, there's also leaky gut. Now, increased gut permeability from parasitic damage. What does that simply mean? It means that your gut, there's a lining in the gut that protects the gut from other parts of the body. Now, when there is parasitic damage, what happens is that lining is open, is broken. Now, this allows the parasite to pass from the gut into the body. So even some bacteria that are also good in the gut, once they transfer from the gut to the body, guess what? They now become bad in that aspect because they're not supposed to be there. Now think of the bacteria that are inherently bad, parasites that are inherently bad, moving from the gut to the body. Do you understand? They worsen what toxin overload, and they cause what increase in all these symptoms that we're saying. Now, when is a disruption in this? It affects what neurotransmitters. And neurotransmitters are what controls us. Neurotransmitters are what controls the body, controls the brain. It also affects neural network, meaning the communication between neurons. How fast the baby can interpret things, how fast the neurons can communicate. And there are some gut signs of leaky gut. So things like food sensitivity, when your child is always sensitive to food, anxiety, poor concentration, mood swings. Now, most children who experience neurodivergence also experience gut issues, and some of them experience small intestine bacterial overgrowth, which means that excessive bacteria in the small intestine. So when there is excessive bacteria in the small intestine, which means that the good bacteria in the small intestine is not it's almost not existent, and the bad bacteria are at an overdrive. Guess what? It affects the gut, and this then affects brain development. I hope you're with me. If you're with me, just type yes, I'm with you in the comments so that I know that you're still tracking with me. Now, it affects brain development and produces toxins, which are lipopolysaccharides, which inflames the brain, and it interferes with nutrient absorption of the brain, also affecting the cognitive functioning of the brain. So, when it comes to managing neurodivergence, in order for you to get the best results, you need to go the holistic route. That is the honest truth. You need to go the holistic route in order for you to get more results, in order for you to the quality of life, in order for you to see and what see and in a faster what a faster results time. You need to what you need to go the holistic route. You cannot say you are building a house and you want to just focus on, you've not even laid the foundation. You want to go and get you want to go and start painting. What are you painting? Maybe are you painting air? Do you understand? You cannot start building a house without laying the foundation. Now, even after laying the foundation, you have to start putting blocks. The foundation alone cannot give you the house. But most of us, we don't go to the foundation of the problem. And that is why when we start working with parents, it's almost like as if we're performing magic. But no, we are going to the foundation of the problem. Now, when we start with the foundation, we then build on. Now, we also have signs of SIBO, which are what? Now, it then causes what? Abdominal pain. So if your child always complaining of stomach pain here, stomach pain there, bloating after meals, constipation, chronic diarrhea, brain fog, and irritability. Now, aside from this, we also have heavy metal toxicity. So things like lead. Remember when I talked about heavy metals and toxins in the previous day? We also have lead, mercury, and arsenic in our environment, in the air you breathe, in the water you drink, and this thing cross the even in the foods you eat. They cross what the blood-brain barrier. Presence of dye, meaning all these sweets, all these colored sweets, cheese ball, colored drinks here and there, it interferes with the brain. Now, I'm going to be sharing testimonials of some of our parents who we have currently worked with, who we are currently working with in the Power Parents Academy, and how they have been seeing results on our protocol. Now, this is a mother who started on the protocol, started on the plan. You can see the testimony she's sharing. She said that she what a child passed huge mucus. Another person is saying what the reason why they are texting us is because their child that couldn't respond to his name. I think this was supposed to be a video, but it can't play now. This is another mother who is saying that she would be ungrateful if she doesn't send us our reviews, because the amount of testimonies that it took even the school had to call her to ask her, what is she giving her child? What is she doing with her child? That the child is seeing such massive improvements that she couldn't even help but cry. She couldn't help but cry. She couldn't help but cry because she had to send our reviews. She had to send in our reviews to show to in order for us to know that she's super grateful. Now, aside from that, I'm also going to be touching on speech. I'm also going to be touching on speech. Now, remember what I said. Remember what I said before, that the first 100 days and the first 700 days of your child's development is very, very, very important. Now, somebody asked me on the platform, on the group, that can an 8-year-old get better? When I tell you that we are working with teenagers and they are seeing improvements, The only thing is that when it comes when your child is more advanced in age, you require what? More work. You require more the protocol will be more intensive as opposed to a child who is smaller. And like all fingers are not equal. So what does that mean? It means that what? That every child is different. Every child is different. What works with A and the amount of time that it will take A to see improvements might be shorter for you, might be longer for you. Do you understand? Now when it comes to speech, the gut is very important in speech formation and brain development. Now when the brain does not develop properly due to what we've previously discussed, what then happens? The brain that is responsible for speech, that is what the frontal lobe, which is responsible for executive function, and the part of the brain, the midbrain, that is also responsible for speech, is interfered with. Speech doesn't just start in the mouth. Even you, there are times that you are thinking, and before you know, you blotted out what you're saying. You did not even plan to say it. That is to tell you that speech starts in the brain. Now, speech is not just about moving your mouth. No, there are some major brain areas that are responsible and important for for speech development, like the Wernicke's area, the brachial area, and the motor cortex. Now, the Wernicke's area is responsible for language comprehension. If your child cannot retain nutrients, if your child body is not accepting nutrients, how then can they comprehend language in order to even speak in the first place? Then the brachial area is responsible for what? For speech production, and the motor cortex is responsible responsible for the mouth and tongue coordination. So you see that it all works together. It all works together. Now the first 3 years, the first 1,000 days shapes all future speech. But this is, I would say, this is a general one, because we have children on our program who didn't speak for 7 years, and now they are currently talking. We have children who didn't speak for 5 years, and now they've got 4 years, and now they're currently talking. What does that mean? You need to just support them rightly. 90% of brain growth occurs by age 5. And it is very critical for language, memory, and social emotional thinking. The brain development depends on what? On nutrient supply, on oxygen supply as well. And most neurodivergent children are short on oxygen because they experience what? Shallow breathing. This is a class I take in the PowerPoint Academy, and I'm even pressed for time. I cannot go deep into this right now, particularly that oxygen. Microbial balance and neurochemical signaling. So you can see that the development of the brain is not in isolation. It's not in what? Isolation. Now, when it comes to the gut-brain axis, we keep on saying the gut-brain axis, the gut-brain axis. When it comes to the brain, it's connected via the vagus nerve. Now, the gut sends more signals to the brain and vice versa. Now, the gut produces 90% of serotonin that is needed for mood and communication. So when the gut cannot produce serotonin, how then do you expect speech? 50% of dopamine needed for reward and motivation to speak. Now, the gut is the brain fuel. It is what supplies the brain with essential things, with vitamin B, with iron, with zinc. It also supplies the brain with omega-3, supplies the brain with proteins and amino acids for communication. But guess what? If the gut cannot even absorb the nutrients, if the gut cannot even synthesize these nutrients, how then can the gut transfer it to the brain? Now, if there are parasites present there and the parasites are leaching on your child, taking all of your child's nutrients and leaving your child with almost zero to none, how then do you expect the brain to develop? Because without the fuel, the car cannot move. It's the same thing. Without gas, you cannot cook. It is what? The same thing when it comes to your child. Without the gut, without a healthy gut, without the gut properly developed, the brain cannot develop. your child cannot eat milestones. If you like, give your child medication from now to tomorrow, your child will continue to be dependent on that medication. And let me not go there. Now, there's also what? Inflammation in the brain. Now, when there's inflammation in the brain, there's miscommunication in the brain. And in children who experience apraxia, this is one of the fundamental underlying causes: inflammation in the brain. There is also leaky gut. Toxins enter into the bloodstream, which then interfere with the brain. Gut dysbiosis suppress what neurotransmitter production, and parasites steal what nutrients needed for brain wiring. So you can see it's a compounding effect. It compounds. You cannot fly when it comes to regulating and healing their guts. Now, inflammation interferes with what? Speech, which causes what? Slow auditory processing, delays verbal retrieval, disrupts word formation, and weakens attention and memory. Now, the vagus nerve, when the gut is imbalanced, when there's an imbalance in the gut, what happens? The vagus nerve is also going to be dysregulated. Now, when the vagus nerve is dysregulated, what happens? Rest and digest, even for children who do not chew, children who just swallow, it affects their speech development. Also, the vagus nerve, for rest and digest and speech readiness. Can you hear that? The vagus nerve, which is the nerve that connects the gut to the brain and the brain back to the gut, is what regulates speech readiness. Now, when there is gut inflammation, the vagus nerve is dysregulated. When the vagus nerve is dysregulated, the vagus nerve shuts down. Chewing, swallowing, and talking rely on the vagus nerve. Now, your child's gut bacteria also teach them to speak, because a healthy flora causes what? A balanced neurotransmitter. A healthy flora also causes more synthesis or synthesization of what? Of the vitamins, and what also strengthens what? The gut, the blood-brain barrier. Aside from that, also produces short-chain fatty acids, which are needed for myelination, which is needed for neuron development and neural transfer, neural communication. So, microbiome diversity is very, very important when it comes to what? Language and speech. And there are enemies of speech development: parasites, candida, heavy metals. They interfere with what? With speech. So you can see that what? Everything what still ties down to the gut. The gut cannot be overlooked. It cannot be what? Overlooked. It cannot be overemphasized. I'll be sharing you a testimony of one of our parents in the academy who we are currently working with.
And he would just move again. He would just move, so I couldn't really get him on camera because I wanted to show.
So now he's trying to make sounds.
I wanted to video. Yes, he was doing all like. To be honest, I've not seen him done that before. This week I saw him do that. This week he was going out. He was making everything. I was like, he already knows even without looking, because I know he's an auditory learner. He listens to things. So I think maybe over time that he's been listening to it, he already knows. But it was not actually trying to say it. Yes. But now that he has listened so much, so because he can be facing the wall and I'll be seeing he already knows what that person wants to do, so he's doing it. I couldn't catch him on camera because immediately he would just move again. He would just move, so I couldn't really get him on camera because I wanted to show the dad that this boy already knows everything on Miss Rachel. He's described, not like before that he just watch, he doesn't express or show or describe what he's watching, but now he does those high movement, the sounds, he goes blah blah blah, ooh ah. He does all those things now. He does that. Wow. This week, I noticed that this week.
Wow. You can see that this child is developing well when we started working with a child. Now, aside from that, I also want you to listen to one other testimony from another parent. These are real life testimonies. I don't think I'm really pressed for time. I can't play them all here, but we have them on our Instagram page. You can check them out. We also have them, also be sharing them from time to time on the platform. We will also be checking them out. Now, at this point, I would want you to introduce to the Power Parents Academy. I would want you to join the Power Parents Academy, because the Power Parents Academy is one that every parent should be a part of. Is one that every parent should be a part of. If your child is experiencing neurodivergence, you actually need to be a part of the Power Parents Academy, because in the Power Parents Academy, we not only focus on your child, we also focus on you as a home. We also focus on you as a person. Do you understand? And with the Power Parents Academy, we have testimonies upon testimonies upon testimonies that we've been able to help parents change the direction of life for themselves. Because when you're not happy about the state, there was even a mom who we're working with. The child was having repeated seizures, but guess what? Hey, she was in my DM the other day singing our praises. And this mother is all the way in Canada. So that is to tell you that no matter where you are in the world, we can work with you, because the academy is fully online. And with what we've been able to share with you during this past phase, we've also told you in the academy, the activities we're also able to do in the academy before we started the live classes. You can see how intensive, how important what the guts is. Now, with the Power Parents Academy, we have three different packages. We have three different packages in the Power Parents Academy, and it is a holistic package. So we focus on you and your child. It is natural and gut-based and long-term transformation. It is a 16 weeks intensive program. 16 weeks, that is what, 4 months. Now, after I work with you for 4 months, you now have what, a 6 month action plan for you to continue to build on the progress. So not only are you going to get live classes, you're going to get classes from myself, pre-recorded classes as well, protocols to do, guides to follow, and things to ensure that you see improvements. Now, with the Power Parents Academy, we have 3 different packages, and the next cohort is going to be starting in February. The next cohort is going to be starting in February. Now, we have the deluxe package. The deluxe package comes with the academy. So for the academy alone costs 350,000 naira only. So we have the academy only. Then you can get the academy plus the resources. So we have some resources, hands-on resources that you would get. So with the deluxe package, it comes with some of the resources. We also have the golden package as well, which comes with about 15 products and some of the resources. And we have the platinum package, which comes with all the healing products and all the hands-on resources for both you and your baby. So at the end of the day, the choice is yours. We have 3 different packages for you to choose from, and you can spread your payment plan till February before we commence. Do you understand? Before we commence the next cohort, because we currently still have 1 cohort ongoing. So at this juncture, I would like to ask, if you have any questions, you can ask your questions in the comments. In the absence of any questions, we'll be ending the live session, the class now, and we'll take any other questions you have in the platform, on the WhatsApp platform, and guide you through the process to registration. All you need to know is that Goodies works, the Power Parent works, and the results are guaranteed if you follow the protocol, if you commit yourself to the process, because we've been able to work with over 200 parents now in the Power Parent Academy, and across our boot camps, we've worked with over 2,000 parents who are consistently seeing reviews back to back to back after eating the end of the road prior to meeting with us. So if you have any questions now, I'll be taking your questions. If you have any questions now, I'll be taking your questions. However, in the absence of any questions, that will be all for now. I will implore you to register in the academy, to register in the academy, and let's help your child do better and be better. Now, somebody is asking me privately if we offer one-on-one session. That you don't want to wait till February, you don't want to join the group plan. Yes, we offer one-on-one session. But for one-on-one session, you would need to send us a DM privately, because the price for that is different from the general and the group plan. So if you want to join the group plan, these are the prices. I don't think I mentioned the prices, but we'll be sharing the prices on the platform as well at the end of once we're done with this. You can log in if you want to, work with us. If the choice is not, you're not under compulsion to do anything with us. So at this point, I think that I've come to the end of today's class. Thank you very much for joining. I love you, and see you in the Power Parents Academy. Bye for now. Just imagine the value you've gotten over this short period of time. Now imagine the value you would get when you plug in and work with us. When you plug in and work with us properly, in a with structure, precision, and results-based protocols. You can only imagine how much progress that is going to bring. Thank you very much. I remain your one and only pharmacist, Etiogena, and see you in the Power Parents Academy. Bye for now. Bye.